There were quite some people asking if it's possible to integrate SimpleWebRTC into other networking solutions as well. So I decided to implement the integration for Photon Fusion 2. And I just want to show you how it works and how it can be set up. So before starting with here the first client, this client is already connected over the 5G network, over the internet to the Photon server. And if I now start the Unity editor on my PC, we see that this client will connect as well as player 2. And if I now click on Connect WebRTC button, we see that there is a lot going on. A lot of messages are exchanged. And if I now connect the second client too, we have a working peer-to-peer connection. So if I now clear all the logs and send a data channel message, I can receive it here. Or even if I want to start the video transmission on my mobile client, I can receive it on my Unity editor. The same goes the other way around. If I start the video transmission here, you can see it on the right side on my mobile phone. So it's also possible to stop everything else. I can also start the audio transmission and stop this as well from both sides. And if I now disconnect WebRTC and reconnect it, maybe from this side this time, and the other side too, I can launch a video transmission on both sides. So as you can see, the integration works and everything is working as expected, even with the audio. So if we now take a closer look into how everything works. So this is just a simple WebRTC client, as you all may know from the Unity Asset Store, but I expanded it with a generic script, which is now completely independent from the native WebSockets. Just to check on this side here from the old script, there is the native WebSocket, and the generic script does not need the WebSocket here. It's using Photon as a signal server. So how does this work in general? Well, basically first you import Photon Fusion 2. As you can see here in the Unity Asset Store, this is the networking solution we're going to use, and it's free. So after imported that into the Unity project, so usually you open your scene, right click into the hierarchy, Fusion, scene, and set up whatever you want to set up for your connection. I went for the shared model here. And if you want to have a look how this works, you can go to Tools, Fusion, Fusion Hub, Tutorials and Samples, and the Fusion 100 tutorial. So you will land at this page here, where you can see the setup, everything what's going on, and the signaling is done via Photon RPCs here. So for setting everything up, you can use the Photon Hub as well. You go to Fusion 2 Setup and paste your Fusion app ID here, which you can find when opening the Photon dashboard. And when opening the Photon dashboard, you can find your app ID here. And this app ID will be pasted into this box here so that Fusion knows which app it's going to use. Please note that this is a Fusion app, not a PAN app or any other technology. This is for Fusion only. After that is done, you can go to the Fusion Network project settings. These are in here. And in the project settings, make sure that you go down here to the assemblies to weave and add the SimpleWebRTC assembly here. And usually here will be some kind of error or warning because you have to go to the project settings and make sure that allow unsafe code is ticked. If this is ticked and the assembly to weave for SimpleWebRTC is added here, everything should work out fine. And the next thing for you to do is to set up the WebRTC connection generic with the SUN server address, PRD, and all the other settings which can be found in the former tutorials as well. The only difference is here that you can now define if something is an audio sender video audio sender or video audio receiver as well. So you should basically leave it like that is, so you can receive and send, but you can also configure it like just only a sender or only a receiver. And one thing you will need for Photon Fusion to work is set up a network object in your scene, this master client object, and add the Photon signal server and the WebRTC connection here. And in the WebRTC connection, you can add reference to the signal server message handler here. This will very likely change a little bit when I'm going to implement a few more networking solutions, but for now, this is just simply the easiest way to start. And if we're now having a look at the Photon signal server, this is just a network behavior which uses the WebRTC connection and the dictionary of chunks, because when using RPCs, there is a limit of payload for 512 bytes, and the messages sent via WebRTC are often bigger, so I had to split it up into chunks and reassemble them when receiving them. So there's a disconnect from server handle message method, which is called by the WebRTC connection generic. And here is the RPC, which will be called on all clients except the sender. And it will clean out the chunks, create new chunks, and when all the chunks are created, it assembles everything and lets the WebRTC connection receive the message and then remove them from the dictionary. There is also a few test methods and an empty class if the Photon Fusion is not within the project. And on the WebRTC connection side, if we go all the way down here, we see that handle message is actually splitting up everything into chunks and sending the chunks over the network to every other WebRTC connection which is connected. So for the scene setup, I have just a simple client canvas here with a lot of buttons which are basically disconnecting from Photon, connecting to WebRTC, disconnecting WebRTC, and all the different channels. And for enabling this canvas, I'm using the network runner and the onConnected to server method to just activate my canvas to make the buttons clickable. And the Photon network start does start automatically. You can also use the UI provided by the Photon to start, or your custom starting mechanism whatsoever. I'm just letting it start automatically, go to a default room. So for every client, this is the same. There is no player prefab, nothing at all. So it's just using the RPCs for signaling, and the whole video transmission, audio transmission, and data transmission does work over the network. So if I'm just booting up my smartphone again and let it connect to Photon and then start the editor, you can see that the editor will connect as player 2. Player 2 here. And if I now click on connect WebRTC on my smartphone, everything will be added out. Connect WebRTC here too. Wait a second, and then starts the video transmission on the mobile client. We'll see that we'll receive the video here, and I can also send my video over the network, or my audio, for instance. I can also stop everything and restart it again. Start video on the mobile client. And there we go. That's it. It's easy as that to get started with WebRTC and Photon. If you see the exception down here, this is because I didn't properly disconnect beforehand. So I'm just starting it again to show you. Whenever you want to quit the connections, you should first of all disconnect from WebRTC when connected, and then disconnect from Photon. Otherwise, you will get this error message from the Photon connection that the Photon signal server could not be found. Any other than that, it works flawless with multiple clients. Please do note that this is a peer-to-peer connection. I mean, the WebRTC connection is a peer-to-peer connection, and this does not scale well with a lot of clients, but you can actually use it in your game or in your application, whatever you like. So thank you. I hope this video was helpful, and thank you again for all the YouTube members who are part of the channel and supporting the channel. And great news, there are also new Patreon members. Thank you too. And if you consider supporting this channel, you can either like, subscribe, comment, or become a channel member on YouTube or a Patreon supporter. I would really appreciate it. It helps me a lot creating more content for the channel. And that's it for now. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.